Greetings, everyone. I hope you're all well on this day. First and foremost, I want to thank folks who have been reaching out to me like, under a rock much? And yes, I have been to some degree. I have taken some time to rest and care for myself and, just really kind of get grounded and reset and, just really it's just taking care of myself. So, January 20th, new president came in, and January 22nd, all of the DEI stuff was rolled out. And by the 26th, I had lost 8 out of 9 of my clients, all but one. And interestingly enough, my first reaction was not, oh my God, panic. It just felt quiet. It just felt quiet. All of a sudden, I looked at my calendar and I had maybe 10 things on my calendar over the next 2 weeks. There were still things I needed to wrap up. I still did have one client. There were other things that, needed to get done. But for the most part, my calendar just opened wide, just right up. Be careful what you wish for, because for the last year, 18 months, I've been saying, I'm tired. This is not sustainable. And in my mind, I was thinking, well, let me start transitioning and doing some other things. But at the same time, I was getting more calls and I was getting more work because people were increasingly more fearful and more anxious to figure out a way to deal with their teams and their staff and, with all that was going on. And the thing about Zoom or Zoom world now is that it's so much easier. You look up and you've just scheduled back to back meetings. And I have an open calendar, so people can schedule themselves on my calendar. So if there was a 30-minute, somebody would grab that 30 minutes. So I just didn't set myself up for success and what happened, or sustainability. And what happened was I just have been so burned out. So for the last year or year plus, I've just been, talking to folks and in my mind thinking I need to exit and do something that is more life-giving and more affirming. And it just didn't happen that way. And sometimes when you need to do something and you drag your feet, sometimes God will sit you down and say, here, I'll take this over. Just go sit down somewhere. So for the first week, I feel like I slept all day. I have been exhausted and I have not been taking care of myself. My doctor literally said, I know you don't like meds, but you're not going to stroke out on my watch. Those were her words. Your blood pressure, you're doing way too much. And because I was so busy, I did not intentionally put rest and recovery and wellness in my schedule. I did not care for myself in the ways that I knew I needed to. So here we are 2 months after, and I'm starting to feel kind of sort of normal. I'm feeling, like I can at least name and put intention and attention to my care and my rest. And so, to all the DEI folks out there doing this work, one of the things that makes DEI consultants and professionals successful is how well They're able to manage people's trauma and fears and anxiety and anger and resentment, and still be able to navigate folks towards a place of alignment and towards a place of a little bit more relaxed. But I think that part of the challenge is we forget that we are taking on and absorbing all of that energy, especially if you're somebody who does mandatory trainings or your trainings where people have to go. Those are the toughest because you just have people that just really don't want to be there. And then you have other folks who want to be there and they want everybody to get it, and they want everybody to get all the concepts and terms and understand how they are implicit in the harm. And there's the policing and the judging, and it's just a lot of energy. And as consultants, we hold that energy. And I realized, in the last year or so that this was not going to work for me to continue to hold that energy, but I just didn't have a plan at that point. And I was so busy that I didn't intentionally make a plan. So I have always believed that is this DEI concept, it was what people most knew. But I struggled with DEI as the mechanism to foster dialogue between people with different identities and lived experiences. DEI relies on people actively seeking to do better or to think differently or to try on new things. It is my opinion that people do not fundamentally change because of a training. People do not go into discussions about people that live differently or that are different from them with a commitment to fundamentally change. I think folks do what all humans do, which is my opinion. I won't say all, but most humans do, which is to take new information and to assimilate it into their existing understanding of the world, their existing values and beliefs and truths, which means you're not actively seeking or looking to think differently or more openly. You are looking to see how the information can fit into your current reality and frame of thinking. So if we're talking about DEI, which is about concepts in different ways and differences, and you're throwing terms at people, implicit bias or microaggressions, and that does not tap into that greater, deeper human spirit. That is why I developed that concept, grace equity. That is why I lead with grace. Because everybody wants grace. Everybody wants it assumed that they're a good person and that they have good intent. But folks aren't really willing to give too much grace. Even the people who are the most, grace, they're the main ones. When somebody does something, they go straight to cancel, or they go straight to, judgment and, wanting to do things to affect people's livelihood. Folks want to, the amount of bullying I'm seeing by everyone, not just people on this side or that side. The amount of shaming and blaming, the amount of no compassion, the amount of compassionlessness. I started to feel like I was just pushing a rock up a hill. Sisyphus, I think, is like just pushing the rock. And to what end? I will always believe in the highest and best of us. I also believe that behind chaos is order trying to push its way through. But what I realized for me is that it is not my job anymore to help people see. I'm not anymore interested in anything related to resistance. I am out all of resistance. I am entering into a time of grace and ease and flow and joy and an abundance of rest, an abundance of self-care. But I no longer want to take on people's fears and anger and resentments and anxieties. I'm out. I'm out. So I will continue this on my next reflection about, well, if I'm out on that, where am I in? Where am I in? I also want to just, take a moment to invite anyone listening to this, but especially if you are a woman, we're not socialized to center our wellness and self-care. But if you're doing something that's causing you pain, or you were like me for a year saying, I can't do this, this is not sustainable, I'm tired, but you don't do anything about it, please take it from me. It's really not worth it to kill yourself for what? Because of what? What makes daily chronic stress and hair falling out and struggling to get out of bed and can't sleep, and what is worth it? So please, y'all, take care of yourselves. We don't need a bunch of unwell people running around here holding up half the sky, because you're not going to do it well. And oftentimes people don't really appreciate it anyway. Right? Take care of yourselves, y'all.